Well, we're back with another update. Today was a short day. Got a bunch of stuff to take care of. Just needed to come back and close up the window mainly and do a couple things. So we do have our main light switch in. Main one will cover the two in the front room overhead. The other one will be a sconce up in the corner, just kind of for low light in the evenings and low wattage. Another switch here, be for outside. AC outlet at countertop height. Got us another outlet down the wall. I did get my window in, took about a month to get in. Need to get the shims and an extra hand to help me get that in there. I did get in my two half walls, so I am officially done with framing, other than some small blocking where I'm going to be mounting the plywood. I did get my panel in, so this is a 100 amp GE panel, 20 slots, 20 circuits. I'm only going to need about 6 or 8 of them. I did swap out the main 100 for a 30. My generator will come into here, and then in the first two I will have another 30 amp for my solar generator, which I'll have an outlet here. It'll be a 30 amp plug running up into here, but then I'll be able to set it in here, and any backup batteries I'll be able to run underneath it to recharge. So that is on that half wall. Do have an outlet down here. So the bed, queen beds are 60 inches wide. So if you look here, I did find where 60 is. So the bed will be from here over, and the way I'm going to build the bed, it'll be 2x4. It'll be all 2x4s, but it'll be supported off the wall. So it'll be here, and then there will be an outlet here, and then the height of it will be somewhere around here at about the 16, 17 inch mark. Tall enough to get those black buckets slid under the bed for storage. So we've got that one there, and also another one over there for the bed. I did go ahead and put one in here horizontally. I am still considering building a large overhead shelf out of 2x4s and then putting a piece of plywood, and that'll be more of storage for, you know, bags or clothing or extra guns, things like that. When I'm out hunting, I can come in here and put them up on the shelf, up out of reach, out of the way, above the bed, so you'll be able to walk in, shelf up here. Still hadn't quite figured that out. I did make sure that the half wall only comes to about here, so if I build a shelf out the entire width of this half wall, it'll stay outside of the framing, or I guess on the framing of the window here. So I may not go, I may split it, run a board here and a board across, but I wanted an outlet up there, just for stuff like I have extra chargers for my rigid equipment, and when I'm out here I might want to have 1 or 2 chargers up on the shelf with a couple of batteries, just able to charge that and be able to do some more work out here. Something that I did do that I didn't really get into or mention, but I had talked about trying to get around the issues of the depth here. You can't get a full box in here. Actually, if I can find a box real quick. So if you tried to put in a box here, you notice how far that sticks out, and it's right against the metal and all of that. Well, instead of doing that, what I came up with was a small block. You can see it just here to there. I cut an angle on it and then ripped it. Did this to a whole 2x4 and then cut it into small sections to cut it into pieces. I think there's about 9 or 10 inches long. And so these are just screwed in here, and then the box is screwed into this. What this allows me to use these boxes that have the screws on them. I do like them, they are very sturdy. But as you notice, I'm not even against the back, so access for the wires to go in and even some spray foam back in there. As you can see, I've got light all the way through there. So I went and did this on all of the outlets that are on the side walls. As you can tell there, also that one there. And so that really resolved my issues with being able to mount my outlets. And then these I didn't have to worry about because this is just a standard frame wall. So I am considering switching up and maybe getting another double gang box and putting it here, replacing this one. I did put this one in as a light switch for the bedroom for an overhead light, but I'm kind of considering, now that I'm looking at this, putting in a double gang here, the first one for the light up on the ceiling, and then a second one to go to the sconce right here that I'll have in the corner. So haven't quite decided on that. This is kind of one of those things that when you're building, you don't really, it's hard to see it until you're in it. I did come through and map this out on paper, and this is originally what I came up with, but I may make some changes. I may go ahead and leave this double gang, even if I do not use it for 2 switches. I may go ahead and put an outlet in here to have an outlet and a switch, since at the moment I don't have an outlet on this wall. I have considered putting one somewhere down lower, but considering this is in the walkway, and then this is kind of going to be my dedicated place for a dog kennel. I've got 2 dogs, and when I bring them out to sleep, I think this would be a good place here. And the kennel's 24 by 36, so it covers just inside this wall. So it'll take up this area here, all of this area, and then this area you don't really want to box in with stuff that's going to be plugged in. So that's why this wall is predominantly got outlet, 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 and then in the bedroom, outlet, outlet, and outlet there. So I think anything other than that, I can get away with some power strip cords and some couple of extensions here and there. But of course, this will get spray foam, so adding after the fact is out of the question. I will always be able to get to these walls because the plywood will be screwed up. I have decided that the way I'm going to layer everything is, as far as panels, once it gets insulated, the roof panels will go up first, then the floor panels will go on second, and then the wall panels will slide in. That allows me, if I ever need to get back into the walls, to rather, change some wiring to get in here. I know there will be spray foam, but that doesn't mean I still can't get into it a little bit. And so I thought about putting the walls in and then the floor, but the floor is going to be 3/4 inch insulation plus 3/4 inch ply, and that will box in my wall and make it extremely difficult to remove a wall panel without removing the floor panels. So it's kind of the plan there. Other than that, it is really coming along, taking shape. I've done 3D models of it, but now you can really see it come together. You've got the entryway and the window as you walk in, dog kennel over there, the opening into the bedroom. There will be a curtain rod that runs across, and I'll put up a curtain right there just for privacy and light and things like that. Eventually there will be a countertop, somewhere between 36 and 48 from that wall over. That'll give me a good working area. There will not be a sink or water or anything inside. In the future, depending on how the AC situation works out with a window unit there, I may put in a cabinet here that's about 36 inches to 42 inches here that may have a sink on the outside of the enclosure. And then I can run through the floor, drain it out, to have like a mini washing station outside of the enclosed envelope. I do not want to bring any extra moisture in. This is Southeast Texas along the Gulf. It gets hot and humid, and the last thing I need is extra water or moisture building up in here. So, and I probably will add a vent or two on the doors just to vent this front area from getting too stuffy, to trying to push in. So other than that, that's where we're at. And the next stage, I am going to finalize if I'm going to put any more outlets in. I know I need to do it now, so I am in consideration of that. And then, like I said, also switches, some fine tuning and stuff. Other than that, it's on to wiring. And then once I get the wiring done, I will go ahead and sheathe this outside with its paneling. Haven't decided yet to put the window on first and then the sheathing, or the sheathing and then just stick the window on top of it. I kind of want to get the window in just to get it off the floor, so I may go ahead and do that next and then sheathe over the top of it. I do somewhat regret not using a treated 2x here. Not a huge deal. It is 4 feet back, but what I probably will end up doing is maybe putting some of that tape down. That tape that they use for like the zip system or flashing tape, something like that, and then running it along that bottom seam, just in case I'm walking in from outside and it's muddy and then a little bit of water accumulates on this edge. I may even do some flashing, like a small bit of flashing across this bottom part and then tape it down. Something like that, just to prevent any moisture from building up right there. There won't be any moisture coming in externally. It's, like I said, it's 4 feet back. There might get some sprinkles in here if I'm out here and it's raining a little bit, but as far as water accumulation, that's not going to happen here. So other than that, everything is coming together. So if you have any questions, hit me up. If you have any comments or advice, I greatly appreciate it. Like, subscribe if you want to keep up with everything. Otherwise, God bless. Take it easy.